Alright, my August wrap up. I had a good reading month. I was really proud of what I did. I read 4.5 books plus manga. So that was really good. I'm really happy with how I performed, and we'll talk about it now. The first thing I read was Crossroads of Twilight by Robert Jordan. This wasn't the greatest real-time book if you watch my review, and it's not great. It's basically, now that I've had some time to think on it, I think Robert Jordan was a great writer. He's a great author. I love it. But he wasn't writing anything good here. Like, there was nothing he was writing that was interesting, in my humble opinion. I do think it was some good content here, but nothing was really happening. And I feel like it needed some pacing, really stepped up. I feel like he's trying to write things that are not there, just trying to expand the series out, making it really not dense and just stretched out, and just like they're doing nothing just to hold up time, and that's kind of how I felt. But I still love The Wheel of Time, and I'm currently reading Knife of Dreams and loving it right now. But the next thing that I read was Malice by John Gwynne. Now this is the thick, chunky boy. Yeah, I really liked it, but I saw a lot of flaws with it. I had a little review. It was spoiler-free. It was mainly kind of digesting these flaws and talking about the flaws I had. But even though it was very enjoyable, still I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5, I believe. But yeah, I think it was really solid, but just a lot of the problems were like very chunky, or some characters I didn't like. And yeah, it was just really blocky, if you know what I mean. Like, a lot of these problems can be solved, and this is a lot of problems I see with newer authors. But other than that, it was really promising, so I really like this book, and I'm super excited to read Valor sometime at the end of this year. The next thing I read, I do not own physically. It is Way of Kings Prime by Mr. Brandon Sanderson. Now, this is not an official Cosmere book. It's a Cosmere, like a Revelation or something like that. But it's like that. It is really good. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, but I ended up having a blast with it. Yeah, I mentioned before, it's on pure enjoyment level. Yeah, Way of Kings is way better. But this is still a good book. I think, like, people say, oh yeah, like, this is not good. This is just kind of see where Brandon Sanderson was. I still enjoyed it a little bit. Like, it wasn't good, but it was enjoyable. I really kind of enjoyed it. I kind of connected to the characters, the alternate versions of these characters, and it was really fun. And I have a pretty long review for that one on the channel you can check out. The next thing I read was Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I read Malice earlier, and now I read his newest release, Shadow of the Gods. I thought it was excellent. I really loved it. I had a great time on it. I gave it a 4.5, and I enjoyed it, yes. I had some problems with it, yes I did. I just filmed a review with Ethan, and it's a spoiler review, and I'm about to film a spoiler-free review for my channel. So go check those two out. I don't think my spoiler-free is out yet, but I'm pretty sure Ethan's video is going to be out pretty soon. And yeah, super excited. It was really good. A lot of my problems with it was kind of like, this wasn't really like the most expertly set up. I mean, a lot of times there's this trope like where they knock a guy out, he go black, and you think he's dead, and then you just wake up in the next paragraph or in the next chapter they have. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I really enjoyed it. A lot of plot twists, a lot of spoilery shots, and the cover is beautiful. Go look at that cover; it's just amazing. So, yep. And last thing I read, or actually still currently reading, I got a big chunky way through Knife of Dreams. I am gliding through this book. It's so weird. It feels like, wait, it felt like 30 seconds. Why am I already almost a quarter through the book? And like the opposite with Crossroads of Twilight was 100%. And then like here it's like, wait, it feels like, but like I'm getting it so much because I'm just like flying away in Knife of Dreams. I love it so much, and I'm super excited to do an in-depth review whenever I finish it, probably in a couple days. Those are all the books I read this month. I did read 4 manga, and they were all Promise Neverland. And I really love Promise Neverland. I'm really having a blast with Promise Neverland. This is the first one. I really love the first one. It had a great introduction. It had very like peppy vibes until a big plot twist happens, which I won't talk about here because it's my wrap up. And I'm thinking about doing a 1 through 5 review, but I only read 1 through 4. So once I finish number 5, I'll do a review. But like, I just really peppy, and then something happens, and then they're trying to pretend to be happy for other people. but they're also trying to figure out how to escape. And I really love just the concept of this, and just throwing it on me. It's really great. I just like love it how just like it's a psychological thing, and it's like really just like crazy because a lot of these are like really good, and I think that was one of the best ones, and I just love the opening scene of that one. Also, number 2, I think number 2 expands on it. I think a lot of bombs are dropped. I'm like, okay, like like a one curtain is being pulled, like slowly, and then you're trying to figure it out. It's kind of like a mystery, action, like psychological. And I just think it's up my lane. The one thing about Proverbs of Neverland, it is original. I've never seen a story quite like this, and that's what I love about it. It's really just so entertaining, and I can read it 24/7, honestly. The third book had the most action. I just loved seeing all this build up and then action. Like, this had a lot of payoff. I just really had a lot of fun in this book, and I would say this is my favorite of what I've read so far. The fourth book was a lot. It gave me a lot, and I really loved it. A lot of sadness. Again, this is like, it's hard. Just one of these are just hard to not talk about spoilers. A lot of bombs were dropped. A lot of just like sadness, and a lot of happiness. Like, I'm just like excited for people. And one thing about The Promised Neverland, I don't think Phil is as prominent in the manga as the show, which I love Phil. I don't know why he's not as prominent, but that's just something I noticed, one difference. But, yep, those were all the things I read in the month of August. And, yeah, this is it. So, see you in the next video.